Alright everybody, let me just get straight to it. What I'm seeing right now developing in the long-range data is not your everyday cold snap. We are staring down one of the most intense early-season Arctic outbreaks I've seen line up in years. And it's timing itself right into Thanksgiving. Weak like it's trying to make history. I'm talking about cold that doesn't just dip into the northern states. This thing dives, spreads, locks itself in, and just keeps going. Negative temperatures, brutal wind chills, and a setup that practically begs for a blockbuster snowstorm, right? When millions of people are going to be traveling. And yeah, I'm going to use the word historic. Because if this pattern locks in the way the models are starting to agree on, we're going to be talking about this one for a long time. Now before I break down the storm threat, let me address the system coming this week. The one some people thought might be big. I said yesterday that it looked weak, and nothing I've seen today changes that. It's still weak. Nothing major. Maybe some storms, maybe a few hail reports. But nothing that's going to shut down travel or make headlines. That's not the story. This week, the story is what happens right after, when the cold air slams in. The jet stream buckles and we suddenly have Arctic air pouring south while heat and moisture keep charging north. That is a recipe. It's how you build a Thanksgiving snowstorm, and the data is starting to light up like a Christmas tree with warnings. When I look at the Arctic oscillation, the numbers are dropping right through the floor. That's basically the atmosphere screaming. Cold air is coming. And it's heading straight into the US, by the way. If you'd like specific weather forecasts for your region or city, please leave them in the comments. I'll answer them individually as time allows. Also, if you like the video and subscribe to my channel, you'd be very grateful. Now, let's move on. And once that door opens, it doesn't look like it closes again anytime soon. We're talking late November into the start of December, maybe even longer. That cold blast doesn't hit and fade away. It digs in, it reloads, and it throws storm after storm at us. And I know some of you are already thinking, okay, but where? Who gets hit? Well, the answer might be a lot of people. I'm watching the GFS. I'm watching the Euro. I'm watching the ensembles and the trend, not just one run. But the trend is pushing this storm threat farther and farther east. And that snow chance keeps expanding if the first wave doesn't hit right on Thanksgiving. Then the travel home may be an absolute nightmare for millions of people. The atmosphere does not care about your flight schedule. And I'm telling you now, if you're flying, driving, or even thinking about traveling around the 26th through the 30th, you need to be watching this channel every single day, because once this thing locks in, it's not just snow. We're talking wind gusts 50, 60, even 70 miles per hour in some runs. That is blizzard criteria. That is shut down then a state, cancel the flight, whiteout conditions, and the crazy part. Both major long-range models are starting to agree. This isn't just a GFS fantasy run anymore. Even the Euro is backing it up, and the ensembles are going wild. I'm not exaggerating. When I see 50 different solutions from the Euro, and the majority of them show some type of snowstorm around Thanksgiving, that's not a random glitch. That is a signal. Some of those runs dump a deep southern snow. Others shift it north, but almost all of them show cold air, crashing into moisture at the exact wrong time for holiday plans there. Are even a few extreme runs putting heavy snow all the way into Texas, so let me paint the picture here, because travel week could be absolute chaos. Thanksgiving morning warm along the eastern US, but freezing cold in New England. Single digits and negative temperatures in Canada with that Arctic air pressing south. And right along that temperature battle zone, storms developing. Heavy snow in the Rockies, a strengthening system over the plains, and winds tightening up enough to create blizzard conditions. You might be eating turkey while someone in Colorado is snowed in. Someone in Kansas is getting wind gusts over 60 miles per hour. And someone in the south is dealing with thunderstorms. And then, the cold strengthens Friday, wind chills below zero in parts of the north central. A Saturday, freezing temperatures sinking toward Arkansas and Illinois. Sunday, negative wind chills spreading across the Midwest. And here's the part that gets buried. This doesn't stop after Thanksgiving. Every sign I'm seeing suggests that December continues the pattern. More snow chances. More Arctic reloads. We may very well run from Thanksgiving through Christmas in an active Winter-dominated setup. This could be one of those winters people talk about for years, and I'm not hyping this for clicks. I'm showing you what the data actually says. You can go check the Climate Prediction Center, right? Now they've already expanded their heavy snow. Probabilities from the 26th through the 30th across a massive portion of the country. That's not normal this early now. I promised I'd always be honest with you. The storm this week? Weak, not a big deal. The pattern next week? A very big deal. And I will not sugarcoat it if you're traveling. Or you know someone who is. They need to know what's happening right now. Not 2 days before it hits, because the worst case scenario here isn't just snow, it's being stranded. Because the road's closed. Or the airport shut down, or a blizzard warning dropped while you were in the air. And listen, I'm not just talking about doom. I'm talking about preparation. We beat every storm by knowing it's coming early. That's why I keep saying share these videos. Get the word out. Not for me, for families that might otherwise get caught off guard. Because nothing ruins Thanksgiving like being stuck on the interstate with kids. Luggage, and no way back home. Now this is where things get interesting. I'm going to bring up something I almost never talk about on the channel. The MJO. I'm keeping this super simple. Think of it like a giant signal that tells us when the atmosphere is more likely to be warm or cold in the eastern US. Certain phases mean heat, certain phases mean cold. Right now, we're stuck in the warm phases. That's why some of you are sitting there in 60s and 70s like winter doesn't exist. But the MJO is forecast to rotate into those cold phases. Phases 8. 1, maybe 2 right at the end of November. That's the switch. That's the lever that flips everything. Now let's talk models, because both major models are painting almost the same story. And when that happens, I take it seriously. We've still got a ridge in the west. Trough in the east pattern right now, but it's not a clean split. If you live in the eastern US, you've probably noticed how dramatic the temperature difference is. Places like Pennsylvania are running 10 degrees below normal, while parts of Virginia are 10 degrees above normal. That is a crazy, tight temperature gradient. That's a battlefield setup, and that's why so many storm systems have been forming right along that dividing line. As we move through this week, things stay active. The southern states look primed for thunderstorms and maybe even a severe threat Thursday into Friday. Nothing looks like a major outbreak right now, but there will be storms. Meanwhile, the west just keeps getting pounded. More snow for the Sierra, more rain for the coast. It's relentless out there. Then we reach Thanksgiving weekend. This is where the pattern turns into pure chaos. One of the models is showing a monster storm forming over Colorado and exploding into the plains and Midwest. And when I say monster, I mean pressure dropping into the 990s. A classic Great Plains winter storm setup. Blizzard conditions to the north, thunderstorms and maybe severe weather to the south. The kind of system where you're watching snow pile up in Minneapolis while someone in Arkansas is under a tornado warning. And if that wasn't dramatic enough, this run literally shows snow on the ground in Michigan during the Ohio State game. That's wild. Now I'm not going to sit here and pretend I can lock in exact dates yet. Anything beyond 10 days is still timing dependent. This thing could hit the 28th, could wait until December 1st, but the pattern is locked in. We are going into a colder, stormier phase. The Arctic air is building in Canada, and once that gate opens, it's coming south fast. Both the European and GFS agree. Massive snow influence for the northern plains. Upper Midwest and Great Lakes, multiple storm systems possible. Not just one, not just a fluke. A true pattern change by the time we hit the end of November and the first few days of December. The cold air is fully established in the east. Lake Effect goes nuts. We get snow chances spreading south through Ohio, maybe even Kentucky and Tennessee at times. This is how you kick off winter, so if you've been wondering where the cold is, don't worry. It's coming, and if you're hoping for snow in the Midwest or Great Lakes, this might be your year. All right. If you'd like specific weather forecasts for your region or city, leave your region or city in the comments. I'll answer them individually as I have time. Commenting is completely free. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.